right. Looking now in the GTA, here's the bigger change in terms of median price, down 6% year over year when we're looking at it. And again, are we losing a lot of students? Yeah, that's starting to happen, right? And I think that vacancy rate is climbing, and that's why you see the softening in price as well.
Yeah, softening on the price, but you know what? An uptick in the transaction volume, and also, not a significant year over year increase in the amount of new listings.
Yep.
But I would imagine that the active listings is going to look a lot similar to York when we get to that chart. But yeah, it's a big pullback at 6.3, but it is January. And typically not a ton of people are vying to be moving in this weather.
Yeah, absolutely. When we're looking at our lease price, like we said, you kind of see that run up there after 2021, maintain just slightly, and now we're dipping just a little bit in the GTA in terms of our median price. Active listings, since 2022, that has increased, and that is the same trend that we saw in York.
And we can see in 2020, we can see that big peak when COVID happened. A lot of people moved home.
Yeah.
So we had a lot of apartments, condos, houses go up on the market. Um, and we're surpassing those numbers now of how many active listings we have for rental properties.
Yeah. Look at the amount of people that have moved home, just like COVID years all over again in terms of our
That's it.
active listings. But that's what that was. That was that big run up in terms of active listings, was everybody breaking their lease and getting out there. Do you want to be stuck in an apartment building during all those lockdowns that we were on? It was a rough time for a lot of people. I know some people that decided to go home as well. If I'm going to be locked down, might as well be on the parents' place with a property.
That's it.
Right?
But going back to active listings there, you know, the Canadian government can't really keep track of how many non-permanent residents and these students go back home. When you're leaving, they don't give you a questionnaire saying, "Are you leaving for good? Are you coming back?"
Yeah.
So I think what we're seeing here is a combination of not only a significant amount of more new property coming to the market, but you're
Hmm.
also seeing an exodus of non-permanent residents and students that isn't being calculated. And I think that's why we're seeing this drive up, especially as steep as it is right now going into the January. Because like I said before, typically in January's we're seeing a rollover of active listings. We're actually starting to see the spike. We're seeing a spike earlier in the year to those active listings. And I think that's kind of potentially what's going on there.
Yeah. Taking a look at the lease volume, interesting to see this drop off in terms of lease volume peaking there in July. And again, this is why those active listings are starting to pile up.
And I think the reason that I highlighted July 24th and just how many transactions we had there was because Canada was also setting records on individuals brought into the country. Um, we've been setting records every single year since 2015. So, and then
Mhm.
they've only grown more in the last couple of years. But I think it all come to a head last summer, because it was after last summer that the government came out and said, okay, you know what, we need to do some decreases in these numbers. So it'll be very interesting to see come this summer if how much lower potentially the total lease volume will be in the GTA as compared to last summer.
Yeah, because in terms of starting years, we're above where we started, of course, in 2024 still in terms of our lease volume. So that part's not that bad. It'll be interesting to see when this actually does truly roll over in comparison to the previous years, because I think there will still be that lag effect. The question will be, how quick is that? Is that a short term thing, or is it going to be more long?